Now, this week, the University of Nairobi unveiled a set of radical measures that included the scrapping of all of its colleges and schools, as well as reducing the number of faculties from 35 to just 11. The university also abolished 255 courses it had been offering over the years. And as if that were not enough, the university announced a sharp increase in tuition fees by up to 100% in some cases. Now, one has to feel the pain of parents and self-sponsored students who have to take up this additional load in the midst of a pandemic that has battered the economy and hit family incomes. But what we are witnessing at the University of Nairobi is indeed only a symptom of what has been ailing public university education in Kenya for many years. The bottom line is this, that public universities are generally broke. You see, these institutions rely heavily on government subsidy for their operations. But over the years, that government has so significantly reduced its funding to public universities that these once revered institutions have been left to scrape the bottom of the barrel. In the last financial year, for instance, the government slashed its funding to these universities by almost 30%, citing COVID-19. This has put a strain on these institutions that were already struggling. In fact, it is estimated that currently funds from the government can only cover less than 60% of the students against a target of 80%. This allocation goes mainly towards payment of staff salaries, leaving almost nothing towards the promotion of quality of the academic programs. Now, the universities had resorted to admitting an increased number of self-sponsored students, but that number too has continued to dwindle over the years owing to the harsh economic times. Further, the tightening of the conduct of KCSE exams has also cut down the number of candidates joining public universities, thereby denying the institutions the much-needed revenue from self-sponsored students, as most candidates now secure places in the regular programs. Further, the proliferation of schools, colleges, faculties, and courses at these universities have stretched the resources to the limit. Each of the schools has a director, each college has a principal, all of them with an additional layer of costly bureaucracy. And with all the institutions still largely constrained by endless government procedures, their efforts at income generation have not amounted to much. In some instances, they have been accused of pouring money into grandiose infrastructure projects with little return. Now, almost every year, public universities are flagged by parliamentary committees over their ballooning debt. Currently, public universities owe the Kenya Revenue Authority at least 19 billion shillings at the last count. They also owe billions of shillings to pension schemes, workers' savings, SACCOs, and similar institutions. A further crisis is created by the fact that many of the universities have introduced courses that the market is not asking for. In the end, the universities spend resources training people who do not get immediate placement in the job market. With time, the number of students applying for these courses cannot justify the amount of resources dedicated to them. There is also duplication of courses, not just within the same universities, but across different institutions. Just what happened to the good old days when my alma mater, Ageyo University, was known for agricultural courses, so Kenyatta University produced teachers. The University of Nairobi had centers of excellence in engineering, medicine, etc. Would it not make greater sense if we had fewer but larger universities with specific centers of excellence than the current scenario, where every 10th or 20th floor in a major urban center houses a university campus or other? Wouldn't it be wonderful if the government reprioritized public universities now that KCSE seems to have been streamlined? Now, in the last couple of days, we have heard members of parliament and even some unions call on the University of Nairobi to rescind its decision, particularly on tuition fees. Now, this is indeed expected since the immediate impact on families and students will be massive. But in the end, a real solution to the crisis facing public universities in this country will not be a short-term fix. We must finally reckon with the fact that our public university system is in dire straits, and the current standoff at the country's premier public university may just be a very small tip of the iceberg. That is my angle for the week.